Welcome back for another episode. We've got Preston Wilson here from Lonestar Gym Builders, based out of Austin, Texas. Super excited to dive into his journey, leveraging the home gym and building a business around that. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to let you jump in, Preston. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Preston, owner, Lonestar Gym Builders. I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and in
Awesome.
one form or another. From building things in my garage to now having a whole team going across the state and putting in people's dream gyms in their houses. It's been an amazing ride so far.
That's awesome. Can you walk us through the journey? Start with your own fitness journey. Talk to us about your own home gym journey, and then what was the inspiration to move into building home gyms for other people?
I mean, my own fitness and like lifting journey is the whole reason that this exists. I'm a terrible employee when I work for people. I'm bad at it. I'm 5 minutes late. It's not a big deal. So I for a long time, I'd always done, building and things like that, but just never really found any job that I liked. And so in the midst of all that job hopping, I found a job that I was like, this could be cool. I was like painting these things and putting them in a 1,000-degree oven. Why not? But I had to go do a physical before that. And I went and just did the typical pre-work physical or whatever. And the doctor came in, did his thing, and basically I was cleared. But then he came back in, which they never do at those places. Those are just cattle call in and out. Yeah. And he was just like, hey, man, I'm pretty sure your blood has turned to gravy at this point. Because, at that point I was probably 300 pounds, smoking and, just drinking beer, eating pizza, doing that whole thing. And he really didn't have to come back in, but he did come back in and talk to me and was like, dude, you got to get it together. And so I took that to heart, and I went home and I drank some beer and ate some pizza. And then, a few weeks later, I was really looking at myself in the mirror and was like, man, I got to get this under control. So, I started working out. I did all the kind of common sense stuff I could think of, like stop drinking alcohol, and did my best to eat better. I didn't know a lot at that time, and then joined like the boot camp fitness thing in my neighborhood with like all the moms. And I'm not trashing it, like it nearly killed me. The instructor, man, he had us doing push-ups and jumping jacks and burpees and air squats and all that. And then he was like, all right, the warm-up's over, let's get into the workout. And I was just like, excuse me, what is happening here?
Yeah. I've joined my wife for a couple of those classes, and they whoop your ass.
I was just like, I thought that was the workout. I thought we did great. So that really showed me where I was at, just huffing and puffing, and it was bad. So from there, really started focusing on eating better and being healthier and working out and things. But the job I ended up having by that time was, a sales job where I met clients at their house. So I could never commit to a class, or and then if it was up to me, like, okay, I'm done working, I'm going to go to the gym now. And I didn't know anything about working out, so I just would never go.
What year are we talking about right now?
Man, this was probably 2014 and 15.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So I would just never go. And right around 2016, I was like, man, I really missed, working out, and I was trying to. But so what ended up happening is I went and found some whatever I had in my house, which was a single 20-pound dumbbell. I don't even know where it came from. Pretty sure someone just left it in my house during a party for some reason. And then I had a single 20-pound kettlebell, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And by then I had kind of done some CrossFit and different stuff, so I knew I needed some more equipment. And the thing that I liked working out with the most was a plyo box. So I went in the garage, I found that piece of wood that I had been saving for 25 years that we all have. And, just with a circular saw and a tape measure and, like a drill and some screws, made myself a plyo box. It's the ugliest thing in the world. I still have it, but, I don't know, some friends from there were like, hey, can you build me one? Can you build me one? And they just got better. So I was like, this is cool. I could do a little side hustle, as the kids say. And on the weekends, build these plyo boxes, sell them on Craigslist, whatever. So I did that for a while, and then the orders just started getting bigger and bigger. And somewhere along the way, everything got really out of control. So I was building stuff, and then people would say, well, can you build this? And like a gym in town asked, can you build me a set of jerk blocks? And I was like, sure. And then I figured it out and built a set of jerk blocks. It was amazing. Started building platforms. People wanted it delivered and installed and things. And so everything just kind of organically rolled into the next phase, including when people wanted squat racks and storage racks and things like that. I didn't know how to weld at that time, but I was like, all right, I'll figure it out. And I went and learned how to weld, and then started building my own custom equipment. From there, it was, well, I don't know how to put this rack on my wall safely. So I would go do that. All of this was just by myself in my garage. And then, everything just kind of kept compounding. But during that time, I was able to make connections and relationships with, different equipment providers and things. So things like barbells and bumper plates I couldn't make, I could resell for them, and I could put together these packages. So it was probably February of 2020. I remember I leased my first commercial space. I was so proud of myself and real happy, got it all set up. Things were going pretty smoothly. And then the next month they were like, all right, we're shutting everybody down. And I was like, no, I just had a kid. I was like, oh my God, I, just signed this lease and whatever. But that was the moment that the phone started ringing and it didn't stop. And
no kidding.
It got really crazy. And that was probably my opportunity to kind of make it or break it, in terms of helping out the community how I could, because everybody wanted to work out. And as long as I could get raw materials, I could make you a gym. And then, slowly the bumper plates and stuff started running out, and everybody was like, I got these 10-pound bumpers for $600. So it got weird, but that was the opportunity that I took to jump in and really start working with the community and learning more and building myself as this legit business. And I don't know, it was fun, but it was pretty difficult to manage for a while. And then just over that, that became, learning and refining everything. And where I'm at now, that's where I started and kind of where this business started in Austin. But over that time, I hired and worked with some wonderful people who are, they like, Nikki was the very first person I ever hired and came in.
When did you hire her? When did you add to the team?
I hired her February of 2020 as well, which I was like, cool, I got this lease and a person depending on me for money. I taught her, what we did is in terms of woodworking. She came with definitely some built-in talent and skill, and then ended up teaching her welding, and we worked together forever. And then, other people came, and then Michelle, I brought her in to build plyo boxes while Nikki was welding. And all of that to say, now, after this weird road that we've gone down, both of them are my business partners. They're part owners of Lonestar Gym Builders, because I got everything going, but without them, it definitely wouldn't have the refined and the fluid, like it wouldn't run as well as it does, and they really made that happen. I would say probably 99 times during the week, Michelle saves my life and reminds me that I need to get something done or to do it better.
Yeah, for sure. And so did it naturally, it sounds like it naturally just occurred that people were asking you to help them build their home gyms. And so that sort of got the ball rolling for you. It snowballed into a bigger thing. It's about moving into new spaces. And,
Right.
you had to start developing skill sets that you didn't have. Is it still pretty much exclusively home gyms, or do you serve other like commercial gyms these days? How have you grown since 2020?
Well, the cool thing is, people were building out these gyms as far back that I got to help with as far back as 2017. So a lot of people, the boom was in 2020 when it really took off because it had to, but people were already on this path. I think very similar to me. They just don't have time to go to a regular gym, but they are making time to get their workout in. So now what we primarily focus on is residential. The commercial gym market is amazing, but it's extremely competitive. There's a lot of companies out there ready to service those people. But in Austin, if there's 1,000 gyms, there's 2 million people, 2 million houses. So like we focus on that and kind of stay in our lane. However, our work speaks for itself. So we've gone in and we don't just go in and hang a rack on the wall and assemble your bumper plate tree and all that. We'll go in and put up shiplap and change the lighting and do air condition and flooring. And we want you to feel like you are going to work out in your gym. You're not going to go work out in the garage. And we want people to be in that headspace, because just the headspace alone increases their chance of success in terms of their fitness goals. Feeling like, oh yeah, this is it. This is where I want to work out.
Yeah, I agree.
And so since our work has gotten a little bit more elaborate, we have started getting those opportunities to work with apartments, building their amenities centers, and some commercial gyms that'll reach out because they want, they don't want just kind of the delivery and setup. They need custom platforms or, things to look and be arranged a certain way. And right now we're agile and we have that flexibility where we're not just going to go in, set it up and be like, bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're still a custom gym builder.
That's awesome. I've loved the content that you have been pushing out on Instagram specifically. I actually only follow you on Instagram. I'm assuming you're in other spaces too, but it is your work, like you said, speaks for itself, and it's pretty fantastic. I want to go back a little bit. You were talking earlier, one thing led into another, and you had to develop skill sets, that you didn't previously have. And you were figuring it out. I don't know welding, but you know what? I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it. And,
Right.
That resonates with me and what we're trying to do at GORX because, I was an infantry officer in the U.S. Army before I got out, which was October last year. Before I exited military service, I started GORX. And as an infantryman, I often say, and Trevor's probably tired of hearing it now. He's my co-founder. We know how to shoot shit and blow shit up. But you asked me to build software or start a company, and that's a very different animal. But what I know about myself is that if there's something I need to learn, I'm going to find out and I'm going to figure it out. And if I can't learn it myself, I'm going to find the people that know how to solve that problem. And much of my story has been very similar in yours. That each person we bring onto the team has a small stake in the company. Because they believe in what they're doing, they believe in what we're trying to achieve, and they're bought into it. And I imagine that's the same for your team. Walk us through some of the challenges that were unique to you that might be worth sharing with people in our audience who right now tend to be individuals that have home gyms and they're curious about starting a home gym business. Now, it doesn't have to be a micro gym, which is the concept we're pushing. In other words, in a space you open your home gym for rent or to personal train out of. But there are other ways that you can start businesses. And I know that you did a seminar at Home Gym Con, about
Right.
starting. I unfortunately didn't get to sit in on it, but from what I understand, it was much about starting a business, building home gym businesses. So walk us through some of those early, sorry, there's a fly moving around. Walk us through some of those early lessons learned. And what would you say to someone that might be listening to the podcast who wants to use their home gym or leverage their home gym to start a business?
In terms of starting a business, the way that I started it was just, I did what I knew how to do, and I kept it simple, but always left myself room to grow. So I didn't, I didn't commit to anything massive that, well, I got to live up to this. I knew that I could build plyo boxes and pegboards.
Yep.
I knew I could do that in my garage with the tools that I had. And then I let everything grow organically, but there was intention behind it. Like, I wanted it to grow, but I didn't force it, because forcing it and thinking I got to take this next level, that's where you start finding yourself in trouble, because you don't know what the next level is going to be. So I guess my advice, someone starting, is start with what you know. Like, if you have a gym that you want to lease out or have this micro gym business in there, I wouldn't paralyze yourself thinking of well, how can I upgrade this or something, and overthink it and make it more complicated. Just get started. That would be the biggest thing. Just get started. And as the problems present themselves, typically if it's presenting itself in a practical way, then the solution is going to be presenting itself too. Oh, I need to get, this new tool. Oh, people aren't, renting my gym or coming to my gym because I'm missing these pieces. But doing it that way, the answer and you're not guessing at it. And guesswork is one of the things that'll, in my opinion, kind of kick your ass in the long run. The other thing is, I grew up with a dad that was in the Marine Corps, and he taught me how to build everything. And the other thing that he taught me was, if someone can do it, you can do it. So, I mean, that's why in this process, there were a lot of things that I had to learn how to do, but I wasn't afraid to take on the task to learn how to do it. I would just be like, all right, I'll figure it out. But probably one of my superpowers is communication. That I set expectations for my clients. And when I built that first set of jerk blocks, those things were about to take a beating in a gym full of monsters that work out. And so I told them, hey, let's make a deal. I'm going to make you a really good deal on these jerk blocks, which I think I ended up charging them. These are handmade. I ended up charging them probably somewhere around $500. I was like, but these are my first ones. So what I need from you is, I'm going to give you a good price. I just need you to allow me some time. And then after I deliver them, give me real time feedback if something's going wrong so that I can fix it. It's my first time. And I told them that, and they felt fine with it. And, so I think it really comes down to, if you're working on things and you have customers or people depending on you, just set the right expectation with them. If you're upfront and honest, maybe you'll lose a couple of deals, but that's okay, because you don't want to find yourself winning a deal that you can't handle anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I still operate that way. I mean, there are things that are outside of our scope that I just tell people, that's outside of our scope. And here are some people maybe you could talk to that would be a better fit to take on that project.
Yeah, and honestly, you win over lifelong customers that way, right? When you set expectations and you're honest, you value transparency. People respond to that, and I imagine anytime there's a person that was a client of yours that moved to a new location, so long as you can reach them they're going to reach out and ask for you to build that home gym
It
because they
happens.
know you do good work and you're honest.
It happens all the time.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
that company that I built those jerk blocks for, that gym, but it wasn't a month ago that I was over there doing work again. So, so that's a 5-year relationship that I've had with them.
It's freaking awesome. So, sometimes we get questions from people about, what is the minimum stuff they need to start a micro gym, which we honestly tell them you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot of equipment for someone to find value in renting your space to use that equipment. And you don't need a ton of equipment to be an effective personal trainer. But one of the things that we do walk them through is making your space inviting and professional. And part of that is separating your personal belongings and personal items from the business and the business assets. We were talking a little before about creating a space that's dedicated to your gym or fitness. And that's one of the pieces of advice that I've always, or not always, but I give to people too, is like, listen, if you're creating a home gym, you want it to be like exclusively for your home gym. So what are some tips and tricks that people can use to make their home gym look professional? And if, even if they don't have a large budget, you know what I mean? Like, what are some of the things that you would recommend to make their space look clean and professional?
I use my gym a lot for content and pictures and things like that. So I need mine to look somewhat squared away, which usually means I got to move out 8,000 toys before I get started. But, my daughter's the boss. I would say the biggest thing outside of your equipment is neat storage. Just organize. And it doesn't have to be the fancy ones with the doors that shut and all that. You can get, just a nice storage rack and then put your belongings in those rubber tubs. So like everything's is in its place and all that, and it's kind of pushed back, but nothing, like your weed killer isn't just like hanging over the edge of it and making them. It would feel a little weird to work out in somebody's gym if it also felt like they were about to come in there to start mowing their lawn. So I would say whatever you could do storage wise, just getting yourselves some metal shelves and those little tubs, put all your stuff in that, and then try to keep things as organized and orderly as possible. And I mean, honestly, for people that don't rent their gym out, this is still something that we have to go in and do, just so they don't walk into chaos and not want to work out, but also to make sure that they have the room to do what they need to do. So we're always installing some kind of storage unit to go in there that people can keep the space clear and looking good.
Now, there are people that don't really know what they want when they reach out to you, that ask you like, hey, I'm not really sure what I want to put in my gym. Can you help me work through that process? And if you do get clients like that, how do you typically advise them on selecting equipment when they're not really sure what they want? We've had people reach out to us and say, I really love this concept. I'm getting out of the military. I want to start a micro gym. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, or whatever the case. Do you have clients that mention those things, and what do you generally tell them?
80% of the people that we talk to don't know what they want yet, or don't know what they need, or don't know where to start. So that's why probably the biggest reason that we're successful is that I do on-site consultations. They're free. I go out there with them and look at the space, and then we talk through it. And my very first question to them is always, what kind of workouts do you like to do? And then we can go from there. So if they want to just do standard lifting or powerlifting or bodybuilding or what, that lets me know, where we can start. Obviously budget comes into it. Everybody would like a Gold's Gym in their garage, but that ain't always happening. So, our strategy there, people don't usually know what they want because, people that do, or they've been working out a long time, or they're trainers or something like that, they're already going online and ordering what they want and finding the brands that they like and kind of going from there. A lot of the people that we talk to are fit, or maybe they're just getting started, but all of a sudden everything they've ever used to work out kind of falls out of their head. And or is this something that I can even put in my house, or do I have room for it, or what do I do? And that's what our job is to go in and have that conversation. Almost to the antithesis of being a salesman. I talk people out of buying shit all the time because I'm just like, I was where you were. I was just getting started in fitness. And at that time, I did not need a GHD machine or 600 pounds of weight. Like you don't need, you will. And I believe in you, but maybe let's not commit to those things right now. I also find out really where their interest in fitness and working out lies, so that we can get the right amount of equipment, so that when we start whittling that quote down to fit budget, we're at least getting them all the things they absolutely know they're going to use. And then I can give them suggestions based on kind of where they're at in their fitness journey. If they're older, like I'm 41, some of the high impact stuff for me, it just doesn't quite work anymore. I just don't want to do it. So, cables and pulleys and things like that are great. And then it's my job to kind of explain those things. And I don't care if they're going to spend $1,000 with us or $20,000 with us. I just want them to have the right gym, so that when they walk in there, they're absolutely pumped. And the people that are the most excited and love us the most are the ones that have consistently used their gym for months or years. And they did it because they got the right setup.
Oh, I'm sure that means everything. So tell us, our audience is also home gym owners, right? And people that are going to be listening to this most likely have a home gym. So tell us about your home gym. What do you love about it? What do you want to change about it? Or if there's anything that you do want to change, and are you finished? I think that's a common question we all ask ourselves. When are we done?
As far as are you finished, I tell people this all the time. Home gyms are like tattoos. Yeah. As long as you've got room, you're going to add more. Yeah. So no, you're never finished. But my home gym is, even though I'm the home gym guy, is like everybody else's. I have a wife that wants to park in the garage, and I have a daughter that has all of the toys. So I get in my entire garage, at all the equipment at my disposal, I get a 10 by 12 space. That's my corner next to the water heater. And
that's all you need.
And it is absolutely all you need. That's a big thing I always tell people, is they're like, is my 3-car garage big enough? And I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, we could do all kinds of things in here. Let's party. Yeah. But you don't need a big space. So my gym is really basic. I mean, I've got a rower, because it's Texas and running outside right now is suicide. I've got a rower, and I've got a cage, a barbell. I've got my weights, my dumbbell set, some med balls. I have all of the really basic equipment that somebody might get. I don't have anything fancy. I don't have a functional trainer or anything like that, which I would love to have. But people have different visions of what their gym is going to be like. With a lot of the men that I work with, they like kind of this, dirty sort of industrial, they want to feel like they're in there, in a music video or something working out. And I'm the only one that uses it. So mine is kind of that way. It's just rugged and plain. I painted the wall blue, and I put some lights up around the top because, again, I want to go in there and feel like I'm in my space, and I can do that. Now, am I going to be making changes to it? I think so, because I've been using it more and more for content. So I probably will go in there and change out some flooring and put up some more accent pieces. And I'll end up putting a mirror with sort of a light behind it, things like that. And then next week I'm going to make a post that'll be controversial, but it'll be about how to, very on a budget, put an air conditioner in your garage.
Okay. Let's go.
But I know there's going to be some plumbers like, no. I'm going to be like,
it's inevitable.
Yeah. So, my home gym is very functional. I can go in there. I can get a great workout in. Of course, I have a speaker that's too big. And that's it. But, everybody's tastes and, what they need varies.
Yeah.
A big thing that we've been seeing here in Austin, there's so many of these giant houses that have like upstairs this media room where they have all the theater chairs and the big projector and all that, and we're going in and converting those. People are like, I don't want to sit on my ass and eat popcorn and watch the movie 300. I want to look like the guy from 300. So we're going in there and swapping those out and making these really nice residential like luxury gyms that have these big all-in-one units and cardio equipment and things like that. We're having to call people in to make sure the floor is going to hold it before we go too far. Just putting shiplap up on the walls and painting and changing lights and just making things really beautiful. And that, that works for some people. I mean, if I had a room inside my house in the air condition, I'd do the same.
Yeah, right. I don't have enough square footage for that. But the gym, the 2-car garage, I think it's 400 square feet, does the trick.
That's it.
So where do you see the home gym industry, if you will, space evolving over time? Like, what do you think the future is for home gyms?
Well, if I have anything to say about it, we're going to put them in all the houses. I think one of the things that I've seen is people building their new homes that aren't even finished yet. And they're already planning on having a gym space in there. I think having a center for health and wellness and fitness in your home is where everything is going. And it is for a certain demographic. Going to a commercial gym or whatever, your local boutique gym and all that, it's amazing and awesome. And I don't think they should go anywhere. I'm not, one of those home gym people that'll bag on them, because there's a good community feel to it. And they are going to have some really great equipment. And if you're single, maybe you can go mingle, all those things. But there are 41-year-old married dads that work all the time, and I need to get in and get out. And I think people are making that a priority. And I think it's, becoming kind of the new kitchen remodel. People want to have this amazing state-of-the-art gym, and it doesn't have to be a gym where they're lifting. Like, we'll go in and do things that people want to do, like yoga and stuff like that, or martial arts, and converting those spaces so that they can do those activities in there. Some of the coolest things too are people, adding to it by putting like little climbing walls for their kids and areas. So everybody's exposed to this. I mean, my favorite thing about working out at home that I would not get if I went to a gym somewhere is my daughter will come out there and she has these little foam weights. And if I'm doing a deadlift, she's doing her version of a deadlift, whatever it is. And so it's making this a family activity. It's making it a reality that happens at our house, not, oh, dad goes to the gym and dad comes back, so the only thing at our house that we go to a gym for is my wife is a boxer, and I prefer her to go box other people, not me. So I'll let her continue to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got 2 daughters. Proud girl dad. Always
absolutely
rocking the girl power stuff. It's such a fantastic opportunity daily to demonstrate for your kid the value of discipline, consistency, and fitness specifically.
Right.
My daughters are constantly around it. My wife works out 7 days a week. She's always moving, and it's probably one of the most fruitful experiences that I think my daughters have taken from us so far. And they're still young. My
Right.
daughter talks about what kind of fitness she thinks that she'll like. She talks about getting activity. Dad, I got my activity in today. I got my workout in. I went swimming.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, babe, that's fitness. That's activity, girl. Like, get it. And
That's
so
it.
it's one of the most treasured aspects for me in having a home gym. And I make
I,
money off my home gym now, but I still carve out that time
yeah.
in my calendar. So, two parting questions. I'll start one with what advice do you have for home gym business inspired individuals, people that are thinking about starting a business with their home gym? And then two, where can
Mhm.
people find you?
For a home gym business, my biggest piece of advice is don't do it in Austin. There's already somebody
We've got
here.
a gym. We've got a gym in
Yeah,
Austin, and
but
one's popping up soon.
no, I mean, I meant being a gym builder. But the big thing I would say, if you're interested in helping people build their gyms, there's so many great apps like TaskRabbit and Thumbtack and things like that
Hmm.
you could just go on there. They have little sections for fitness equipment assembly, and you can get these little jobs as long as you got hand tools to go out and put together these, jacked up racks and rep racks and things that people are ordering and then are like, holy crap, how do you do this? You
Mm-hmm.
can go do that and help people get set up. And this is going to lead you into everything that you're going to need to know, because they're going to start asking you, oh, well, what should I put on my floor or whatever. That's going to help you organically build that business while you're already making some
It's
money.
fantastic advice.
So you don't have to run out and be like, I got to get a truck and tools and, what am I going to do? You just start doing these jobs and you can do it at your own pace. I tell people that all the time. The other thing is, I hope more people do get into the industry that I'm in, just not in Austin. But I do hope people do get into this industry because it's underserved and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to grow. Especially with companies like yours, it is only going to fuel that fire of growing, because there's only so many people that are going to get this gym. If they're like, well, I need it for fitness, then they may get like something very basic. But the fact that you're putting out there, oh, you can get this gym, which a home gym is already an investment as opposed to an expense. And on our Instagram, we have a post that breaks down that math. That, gym membership versus time in your car, mileage, and all of that, if you really break it down, like a $4,000 home gym, which is pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
is going to pay for itself in 18 months, 2 years. But
Yep.
you're just accelerating that. So this not only becomes a way that you're making this investment, but you're also making your money back extremely quickly. So, I mean, I guess my biggest advice would be like, if you have thought about getting into the industry to build gyms, give it a try. If you're thinking about getting a home gym because you want to use it, but you know that you can rent out that space, or, have trainers, or just kind of invite your neighbors over so you have that community and that accountability, I would say do it. I mean, it's not this massive permanent
Right.
thing in your home. You don't have anything to lose. But what you will get from it, with the added time back with your family, creating that community, possibly making money with it, it's almost just a win all the way around. The only way you lose is if you put it in and then you never go out there.
I couldn't say it better. That's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And so how can people reach you? Where can we find you?
Man, anywhere, any of the social medias is all going to be Lonestar Gym Builders or lonestargymbuilders.com. If you DM us, I will try to get back to you as much as I can. Again, you got the 41-year-old guy in charge of social media. My bad. But
it's the bane of my existence, man. I hate it.
I'm just like, what's a hashtag? So, yeah, anywhere, all the social media platforms is Lonestar Gym Builders. And, if any of the questions you have, you don't have to be a customer. People reach out to us all the time for suggestions or questions and things. And we're more than happy just to answer it, because we don't want to just sell things to the community, but we want to be a part of it and serve the community.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Preston. It's been a pleasure, man. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to watch your company grow and to be a part of it in the small part, even if it's just having a conversation on podcast. You're going to be a regular here so long as you want to join. It's a pleasure, and thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me on, man. This has been great, and maybe next time I get my wonderful business partners to join in and
let's do it.
Let you know what they have to say.
Yeah, I love it. All right, fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.